Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to council on this beautiful day. We're going to get started with roll call.
Mayor Delacola.
Here.
Assistant Director of Law DeChiro.
Here.
Director of Finance Herwick.
Here.
Councilman at Large Elliott.
Here.
Councilwoman at Large Kelly. Here. Councilwoman at Large Stager.
Here.
Ward 1 Councilman Biassiata.
Here.
Ward 2 Councilman Martin. Ward 3 Councilman Snitsky.
Here.
Ward 4 Councilman Greenwald.
Here.
Director of Public Service and Properties Johnson.
Here.
Building Commissioner Vitardi. I'm sorry. Mr. Hoop.
Here.
Engineer Collins.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilman Norm Martin. He cannot be here due to a work conflict.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Councilman Martin's been excused. Now move on to the reading and disposal of the journal. We have the meeting minutes from the regular council meeting of July 9th.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
have read the council minutes for council meeting of July 9th, 2019. I find no errors or omissions, and therefore I move that they be approved as printed.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Meeting minutes have been adopted for July 9th. Moving on to the special council meeting minutes of July 16th.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
having read the meeting minutes of the special council meeting held July 16th, 2019, I find no errors or omissions. Therefore, I move that they be approved as printed.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Special council meeting minutes of July 16th have been adopted. Moving on to consent agenda of September 10th, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
if there's no division of the question, I move that we accept the consent agenda for September 10th, 2019.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Before we get going with our other votes this evening, we do have an amendment to the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman?
I'd like to make a motion to waive the 24-hour rule, to put ordinance number 127, 2019 on the agenda, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a settlement agreement and release on behalf of the city of Seven Hills with Jason Greenaway and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes, the agenda's been amended to include ordinance 127, 2019 is item 9J1. We'll now move on to resolutions of commendation. Resolution 22.
Mr. President,
Councilman?
I would like to make a motion adopting resolution 22-2019, a resolution of commendation to Samantha Purdue, City of Seven Hills Hall of Fame resident.
I'll second.
And I'd like to, I'm assuming we're reading this tonight.
Yes, we'll read it, it's in its entirety.
Read it in its entirety.
I'll second that motion. Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Resolution number 22, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution of commendation to Samantha Purdue, City of Seven Hills Hall of Fame, Resident of the Month, September 2019. Whereas Samantha Purdue, a 13-year-old young lady, is a straight-A student with a love for animals and a heart for taking care of others. Samantha also has a sense of community by donating her time to help at community events and school events. And whereas Samantha Purdue is an all-around athlete, playing soccer for the Brecksville Bees travel soccer team, basketball for Hillside Normandy, volleyball, track for Hillside Normandy, and baseball for the Warriors Travel Baseball Club and New York City Wonders. And whereas Samantha Purdue was asked to play in a national all-girls tournament in Rockford, Illinois, for Baseball for All, a nonprofit organization promoting girls playing baseball. Afterward, she was chosen by MLB to participate in the 2019 Trailblazers event in Compton, California, an event that catered to female baseball players to become ambassadors to baseball and an inspiration to other girls. Samantha was recruited to play for the New York City Wonders as a starting pitcher in the 2019 national tournament. And whereas Samantha Purdue's current goals are to start a local all-girls baseball team, to compete nationally, and to be the first girl to play baseball for Normandy High School. And whereas the City of Seven Hills and the Hall of Fame Committee would like to recognize Samantha Purdue for her outstanding achievements and endeavors by presenting her with the September 2019 Seven Hills Hall of Fame Resident of the Month honor. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, that the appreciation of the mayor, of council, and all other elected and appointed officials is hereby extended to Samantha Purdue for her outstanding achievements, and the best wishes of the official family are herewith extended to her for continued success. That's Clerk of Council B, and she is hereby authorized and directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to Samantha Purdue immediately upon its adoption. That this resolution is hereby determined to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of the City of Seven Hills, and for the further reason that same affects the day-to-day business of the municipality. Wherefore, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its adoption, otherwise at the earliest period allowed by law.
Thank you. Carol, do we have a further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we adopt Resolution Number 22-2019.
I'll second that motion. Before we vote, any comments?
Mr. President,
Councilman Elliott?
I have had the honor and the privilege and the horror of facing Samantha Purdue. I've had several travel teams, all male, all boys, that have gone up against her, and to date, I don't think we've had one hit off of her. She's an unbelievable athlete, has a great family, and very proud of you and proud to have her living in our city.
Great. Anyone else?
Yes, Council President.
Councilwoman Kelly?
Congratulations, Samantha. I'm happy to be a part of our organization who presents this resolution to you. It's nice to see young women such as yourself with a sense of community, your love for sports, your love for animals, and the fact that you're a young scholar really puts you on a good path for success. I understand what it's like to play organized sports. I was on a travel team myself. And having a good backer and family and friends that support you is paramount to what you do. So, as Tony would say, our president, it does take a village to help support the goals of others, and you have that around you. So I wish you the greatest amount of success, and again, continue. Good luck to you.
Any further comments?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Stager?
Samantha, as I was reading your listening to your multiple accomplishments, I was thinking back to the time when I was your age, and there just wasn't the same kind of thing available. And so it's so wonderful to hear all of your accomplishments and all of the things that are open to you and that you can do and carry forward, which I know you're going to do. So congratulations. That is just absolutely terrific. Congratulations.
Councilman Greenwald?
Mr. President, Samantha, congratulations for all of your achievements, and best of luck for everything that you're planning on doing going forward. I hope you're having a great time. That's all.
Any further comments? Mr. Mayor?
Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we are so overwhelmed, I am personally, by the accomplishments that I see here. I predict that it will be the beginning of many more similar awards. I'm impressed not only by what I read and hear about your athletic prowess, but also your academic credentials. You have a bright future in front of you, and congratulations on all you've accomplished thus far, and we look for many, many more great things from you in your future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Administration or council? Well, I'll wrap it up tonight. Samantha, congratulations. I mean, it's really exciting to sit here today and be able to get ready to present you with this commendation on behalf of Seven Hills City Council and the city in general. I'm an uncle. I have 2 nieces, you know, and I try to instill in them that they can do anything that they want in this day and age. And I think you exemplify that. At 13 years old, you're already a role model for all women. And I'm incredibly proud and look forward to all the things you're going to accomplish down the roads with these seeds that have been planted. I mean, it's very evident. Soccer, basketball, volleyball, most notably baseball, showing up all the boys on the field, playing at a national level, and doing this at all the same time, and being a good community member and keeping your grades up. So you exemplify what it is to be an ambassador of the city of Seven Hills, and I really look forward to seeing all your accomplishments down the road. If there's nothing further, roll call, please.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Snitsky?
Yes.
Biassiata?
Yes, resolution has been adopted. Samantha, if you can come to the podium, and any member of council that would like to be in on the presentation, please join me.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll now have reports of committee. Planning, zoning, economic development.
Mr. President, the Planning, Zoning, Building, and Economic Development Committee will meet again on 9/17. All previous minutes are on file with the clerk.
Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. President. The most recent meeting of the Public Works Committee was held on September 3rd. The minutes of that meeting have been submitted to the clerk. The next meeting will be held on October 1st.
Community Services.
Yes, Mr. President, the last meeting was on September 3rd. The next meeting is on October 1st, and those meeting Minutes are pending.
Police and safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next meeting is going to be on 9/17. The previous meeting minutes are on file with the clerk.
Committee Chairman Martin is not here this evening, so I'll announce that the next Parks and Recreation Committee meeting will be on September 17th, and when he returns, he'll update us on the status of the minutes. Rules, ordinance, and ethics.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our last meeting was September 3rd. The minutes are on file with the clerk, and our next meeting is October 1st.
Finance, Civil Service, and Personnel. Our last meeting was on September 3rd. Those meeting minutes are on file with the clerk, and our next meeting will be on 9/17. We don't have any appointments or confirmations today, but we do have one communication from Phil Carrazas. Phil, if you can approach the podium.
For about the last 10 weeks down in Ward 1, Dorset, Chatham, and Essex, we've had many power outages. And we've had 6 since the last week of June, including 3 in the last 14 days, including this morning. The worst was August 25th. It was out for 14 and a half hours. Last week it was out for 3, and this morning it was out for 8. I've been in contact with First Energy, with their external manager, Kevin Smalley, who takes care of this area. And after speaking with him today, I talked to him Friday. They had a meeting on last Thursday with the engineering department to try to rectify the situation. And they escalated it today, after it being out again for 8 hours, to the president of First Energy. He told me today that this is not a small fix. It's probably an 8 to 10 week job. They're gonna have to come in, and outside contractors are gonna have to bore all new tunnels and put all new cables in. These cables are about 50 years old. He said longevity is about 45, and they're on their last leg. So every time it goes out, it's considered a fault, which they can fix in probably 3 or 4 hours. If it's a double fault like it was 2 weeks ago, they have to come in and dig everything up, which could happen again. I hope it doesn't. Tony hopes it doesn't, because the people down there are not very happy right now. He explained to me that the feeder line that comes into our development comes off of Graydon. There's a pole at the end of Graydon, telephone pole, and the feeder line comes in below, right on the border of Brooklyn Heights and Seven Hills, to a box, and all the houses down there is about a box every 5 or 6 houses. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna bring the feeder line into the Seven Hills area. Anything west of North Crossview is gonna come in down North Crossview under the ground. Anything east of North Crossview is gonna still come off of that feeder line off of Graydon. He said this should be an 8 to 10 week project. They should have the approval soon. But like I said, this happened 3 years ago on Chatham, and they knew exactly where it was, and it took constant staying in contact with First Energy, constant contact, to get this done. And like I said, I have Kevin's cell phone number. I can call him 24/7 like I did this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, if anybody has any problems, they can contact me through Tony. If anybody wants my number, they can contact me. But like I said, hopefully, I pretty much told him that we do not need this problem in the middle of winter when it's 15 to 20 degrees and they have to come out and dig through 2 feet of snow to fix this. So he said they want to do it right the first time, not put a Band-Aid on it. So every time they come out to fix it, I always talk to the workers and ask them what's going on. They explain it to me, and they keep telling me, we're putting a Band-Aid on it. Every time we come out, you need to stay in touch with somebody in management so they fix this problem the right way. So hopefully, sometime this week, they will approve it and start and have it done hopefully by the beginning of November. So like I said, if anybody has any questions, they can ask me or call me, and we'll go from there. I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on. I know there was a small outage today on Cascade and Mayfair. Doesn't have anything to do with this, but he is well aware of that. That's all above ground over off the skyline. But I just want to let everybody know that's what's going on. Hopefully it doesn't go out again. So, thank you.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate you stepping up and taking care of this. About almost 3.5 years ago, we had a similar issue on the north end, and Phil and I worked together, and we almost got all the way to the PUCO until First Energy did rectify the matter. It was a large sum of money they invested, but largely through Phil's efforts and taking the lead. So appreciate you taking the lead once again. and keeping me abreast of the situation daily, and I really appreciate you coming here to council today, because I'm sure our at-large people are getting the same calls I am. Okay, thank you. Any further communications today, Madam Clerk? Okay. Council's now open to the audience on legislation only. Front row, left, right, second row, third row, fourth row, on legislation? Okay. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Amended ordinance 105, 2019. I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read amended ordinance 105, 2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second?
Mr. President,
Point of order. It's the third and final reading. It's not first, so I corrected. I move that we suspend the rules and read amended ordinance 105, 2019 by title only for its third and final reading.
Second?
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
I am recusing myself from this measure.
Oh. Thank you, Councilman Greenwald.
Snitsky?
Yes.
Biassiata?
Yes. These things have been discharged. Moving on to the second reading of ordinance
Amended ordinance number 105, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. Would you like your name removed as a sponsor, Randy?
I would.
An ordinance to approve the omnibus discharge of pending legislation that has been held indefinitely by the council of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio. All discharged legislation shall receive a nay vote and be marked as defeated.
Further motion. I move that we pass amended ordinance 105, 2019.
Second?
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald? I'm sorry, you recused. Snitsky?
Yes.
Biassiata?
Yes. Now we'll have the second reading of ordinance 110, 2019.
Ordinance 110, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to appropriate a sum not to exceed $26,866 for the purchase of two Hustler Super ZHD 72-inch B/4 deck 36 horsepower Vanguard mowers with flex forks and one deck over trailer tandem axle with folding ramps, with appurtenances for use in the service department of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio. Said purchase to be made from Baker Vehicle Systems of Macedonia, Ohio, through the Ohio Department of Administrative Services Office of State Purchasing Contracts.
We'll now have the second reading of ordinance 119, 2019.
Ordinance 119, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a 2019-2020 MyCom regional agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of assisting MyCom in connecting Greater Cleveland's youth to community-based quality programming and services.
Moving on to ordinance 120, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman?
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 120-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Snitsky?
Yes.
Biassiata?
Yes.
Ordinance 120, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to appropriate an additional sum of $200 for change order ordinance number 128, 2018, passed by council October 28, 2018, which authorized an initial amount of $3,800 to Unum Life Insurance Company of America for the furnishing of life insurance for qualified full-time city employees and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman,
I move that we pass ordinance number 120-2019.
Second.
roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 121, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman,
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 121-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second?
roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 121, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila. Councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a 3-year agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with the State of Ohio Department of Transportation for bridge inspection program services, repealing ordinance number 116, 2019, passed by council August 24th, 2019, and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Mr. President, I'd just like to state for the record that the reason this is an emergency is that this is something that was previously passed by the council. There was a small error in the previous measure, and this is a correction of that measure. I move that we pass ordinance number 121-2019.
Second?
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 122, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman,
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 122-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
I second.
roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance number 122, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Richard L. Bowen and Associates Incorporated of Cleveland, Ohio, in an amount not to exceed $8,040 for the purpose of serving as the authorized representative of the city to supervise the execution of the 2019-2020 crack sealing program and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman,
I'd just like to say the reason for this emergency is that this is housekeeping that you need to do in the city to preserve the roads as long as possible, and we need to do it before the snow flies. I move that we pass ordinance number 122-2019.
I second.
roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to 123, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman,
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 123-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
I'll second. Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 123, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila. Councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Aqueduct Lake and Pond Management of Chardon, Ohio, for the purpose of providing the fall 2019 and spring 2020 winter protection program and services for 2 City Seven Hills fountains, one at the Seven Hills Recreation Complex and one on Somerset Lane, with appurtenances appropriating the sum not to exceed $500 for said services and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Yes, Council President. I would like to just say that we have the emergency attached to this ordinance, so we could go ahead and start our winter prevention of our fountains and go ahead and continue with that before the snow flies. With that, I move that we pass ordinance number 123-2019.
I'll second. Roll call?
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 124, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance 124, 2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
I second.
Roll call?
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance 124, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacola and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Chapter 305, Traffic Control Map and File, Sections 305.01 and .02 of the codified ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, by adding thereto curve caution signs going east and west on Chestnut Road at either end of the curved hilly part of the roadway and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman?
I move that we pass ordinance 124, 2019.
I second.
Roll call?
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. We'll now have the first reading of ordinance 125, 2019.
Ordinance number 125, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacola and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing the City of Seven Hills to enter into a one-year rate guarantee agreement commencing November 1st, 2019, and ending October 31st, 2020, with Unum Life Insurance Company of America for the furnishing of life insurance for qualified full-time city employees in an amount not to exceed $4.50 for $25,000 life insurance, 50 cents per $25,000 AD&D, and $2.43 dependent life, authorizing and directing the mayor to sign on behalf of the City of Seven Hills any and all documents necessary to implement and give force and effect to said life insurance coverages, and authorizing an amount not to exceed $4,600 annually for said coverage.
Excuse me. Moving on to the first reading of ordinance 126, 2019.
Ordinance 126, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacola and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend section 505.01, dogs and other animals running at large, as contained in chapter 505, animals and fowl of part 5, general offenses code of the codified ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio.
Moving on to resolution 23, 2019.
Mr. President,
I'm sorry. We had amended the agenda. We have moving on to ordinance 127, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 127, 2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second.
Roll call?
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Ordinance number 127, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a settlement agreement and release on behalf of the City of Seven Hills with Jason Greenaway and declaring an emergency.
Do we have further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we pass ordinance number 127-2019.
Second.
Roll call?
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on now to resolution number 23, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and adopt resolution -23-2019.
We need to read it first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read resolution -23-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Resolution number 23, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and Councilman Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
Further motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we adopt Resolution -23-2019.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Moving on to Resolution 24, 2019.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read Resolution 24-2019 by title only for its first and final reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Resolution number 24, 2019, introduced by Mayor Delacuilla and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Martin, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution in support of Stormwater Awareness Week being conducted by the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District on October 20th through 26th, 2019, for the purpose of assisting and aiding in the understanding and knowledge of related causes and consequences of stormwater runoff and flooding, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
I move that we adopt Resolution number 24-2019.
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Resolution 24, 2019 is adopted. Council is now open to the audience for miscellaneous comments. Front row left, front row right.
My name's Tom Jarris. I'm a resident of Seven Hills. In the caucus meeting, it was announced there would be a miscellaneous where we could the only comment that would be accepted would be regarding legislation. The previous council passed an ordinance saying the residents be allowed to speak at all open meetings. It doesn't say that the person conducting the meeting gets to specify the topic that attendees can talk on. That's a different procedure than we've been following, and I'd like to see us stick with the original procedure if we could in the future. I have some comments based on the last meeting and the council president's miscellaneous comments. The first one is the council president commented that I get all the information I asked for in public document requests regarding a $300,000 loan to Genesis. I did not. That contract specifies that a lease executed by KA Development Group, or the KA Group, not development, KA Group, a lease for 10 years that was non-cancelable, was supposed to be submitted before the funds were extended to Genesis. I didn't get any copy of any such lease. That contract also specifies that there wouldn't be any disbursement of the $300,000 that was being given to Genesis until a schedule attached to that contract was completed that specified invoices and amounts that had been paid by Genesis under the terms of that contract. I believe it was Exhibit B as part of that contract. No Exhibit B was given to me. The council president did give me a large printout of a variety of invoices that were printed out I believe in April or May of this year, the money was disbursed in the beginning of 2016. That backup should have been in the city's possession before the $300,000 was given out. And it obviously wasn't. I appreciate the council president got that information to me, but it should have been in the city's possession before the $300,000 was given out. As far as the commentary on the single point of contact for public document requests, what has happened is public documents requests are made to Kathy Holland, the mayor's secretary. And I don't have any problem with that, and I've sent many requests to her. Some of them have been fulfilled. A particular request went from her hand to the mayor's hand to the law department. That was for a request for a document that, if provided, would have been embarrassing to Law Director Pignatello, because it went to the law department's custody first, and obviously they wanted to avoid embarrassment. It was never provided to me. I don't know if that's what you intended with the single point of contact, but that's what happened. The last question is, at the last meeting, the council president complimented the Planning Commission and others for their participation, their efforts in helping to get Meyer started in next year in the spring instead of the following year, as had previously been forecasted. How did the Planning Commission influence Kmart to give up their lease on the property before they had to give up the lease? What pressure was exerted on Kmart to relinquish their lease that was supposed to go till 2021? What pressure was exerted on them that made them surrender that property early? And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jaros. Anyone else in the first row? Second row? Please approach.
Hi, my name is Russ Mazzola. I live at 1032 Cherry Lane, and Dan may be even addressing this later, but I know there's supposed to be a punch list done for all the sewers are put in, and Dan mentioned to me we had emailed back and forth a couple times, but I did take a walk up and down Cherry Lane yesterday, and just so everyone's aware of it, the culverts are very deep, and they're actually deeper than the sewer pipes, and there's a lot of standing water, and it hasn't rained for quite a while, but I know my neighbor across the street was complaining about mosquitoes, and just so you're aware of it, I know it's not, the project isn't over with yet, but just so you're aware of it, that I saw several houses with standing water in those culverts because there's nowhere to go. The drainage is just not right, and the culverts are very deep. And that's all I got. Other than that, the street's looking pretty good right now. So.
Anyone else? Second row? Third row? Fourth row? Fifth row?
Good evening. My name's Paul Kasperzak. I was here 2.5 months ago. I live at 6733 Donna Ray Drive. Of a show of hands, excluding Councilman Bassiotti and Engineer Dan Collins, has anyone else been to my home to see my erosion issue? Please let it reflect in the minutes that no one has been to my home. When I came to that meeting at that time, I came to the city looking for help. I went to the City of Independence to their council meeting on August 13th. I spoke to them also. I informed them of the situation at hand. I was able to get the mayor, excuse me, let me rephrase that. The mayor told me that they had contacted the sewer department, and I told the mayor the reason they're not coming out is because it's 70 acres, and he was in agreement. At the end of the meeting, Don Ram agreed to come to my house. He's the head engineer. Don Ram came to my home and spent an hour and a half looking at my home. I showed Don Ram that I had my house surveyed. Now, when I had my house surveyed, Don looked at the survey and said, "Your house is in Independence? The back 2 feet of my home sits in the city of Independence." There are homes along that area who have the same issue. Prior to going to that meeting, I had called the city, and I explained my situation. They sent an email to the mayor, to Don Ram, and to Councilman Tracus, I believe. Councilman Tracus called me that evening, and in discussing my situation, Councilman Tracus said, "Do you pay taxes?" As I called the councilman, I pay my taxes. Where they go, I don't know. I don't feel it's my responsibility to call up the county and say, send X here and Y here. Now, to take a quick step back, when Dan Collins was out to my home, I told Dan at the last meeting I was going to call a company called Geotech. Geotech is an engineering company that works on land erosion. A gentleman by the name of Tom Reisenberg came out to my home. As I was talking to Tom, Tom brought up the house and he went to me and he said, "I did not realize this creek went so far." Tom came out to my house, looked at my house, did a measurement. I also told Tom that there are 2 houses down the street. One is by Eric, who I believe Councilman Fasciotti talked to you about. And we went down to look at that home. As we walked down the street, Tom told me, I explained to Tom that one of the neighbors had the same problem years ago. Tom, as we're walking towards that house, and I pointed that house that the city rectified, that being the city of Independence, Tom said, "That house right there?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "I did the job on that house." When the engineer came to my home with all the maps, as he explained it to me, the reason they did the job in Independence also went over to Seven Hills. It was because it was affecting an Independence property. Now I'm going to come back to Councilman Tracus. I asked Councilman Tracus as I got off the phone with him, could someone come to my home, either him or the engineer? Councilman Tracus said to me, "I don't know if I could come because I don't know if you pay taxes." My house is 87 feet in the city of Independence. The reason I'm standing here today is because I need help. I sent an email to Tom thanking him when he originally came out to my house. A week before I went on vacation, Tom sent me an email back, and his response to me was, he had talked to Don Ram, and he said Don told him that he was aware that the mayors of Seven Hills and Independence had talked, but he had no idea what they talked about. Mayor DeQuella, can you share anything with me from that conversation?
At the moment, the comments will be to council, and I'll
Okay.
redirect when you finish.
Fine. Can any of that be shared with me at this time, President?
Like I said, when you're finished, I'll forward your questions to the appropriate people.
You know, it's the time of the year where these things are coming in the mail. It's really nice. It's quite impressive. You've done a really good job. And I referred to the minutes of July 23rd. Mr. Robert Leach, 5739 Rockhaven. You guys you deserve credit for all the work that you've really put in. I read everything, and I have for the last 45 years. But I want to thank everybody. The council and administration has worked together a heck of a lot better than I have seen in years. And I think that's great. But there are 2 things I'd like to share. Councilman Snitsky, do you remember the first time you met me? You knocked on my front door, and we sat there for 20 minutes. You were running for election. You even showed me a drawing that I thought was appalling, and I'm agreeing with you. It was appalling. And I'm grateful for the email that you initiated with Dan Collins, but I've not talked to you or seen you or had you anywhere near my home that I'm aware of. Mayor DeQuella, the first time I met you, do you remember the time I met you? It was at the Holiday Inn. The former council was having a meeting, and I was standing outside a ballroom, and you were walking in, and I could tell just the frustration you were feeling. And I was very sympathetic to that, because what you were dealing with, I wouldn't want to deal with it. And you're doing a phenomenal job now. Myers is coming in. The development on Rockside Road is great. But I'm frustrated now. And my girlfriend works in an industry where one of the former council members came to her in business, and she explained to him what was going on in casual conversation. I'm not a fan of this person, but this person's response to her was, you better stay on the mayor because he lets things slide. I'm not saying you do, Mayor. I don't know you personally. A very good friend of mine who's lived in this city for 25 years has spoken very highly of you. I believe all of you are doing what is best for the city of Seven Hills. But I'm very frustrated, and I'm tired, and I'm looking for help. And I will end on this note. Councilman Snitsky, the last time we were here, your parting words to my girlfriend were, you need to stay on them. You know what? How do I stay on somebody in council? Do I call them every day, every hour, every week, every other week, every month? I don't want to annoy you people. You got enough going on. Just like I don't want to annoy the people in Independence. I just want to get this issue resolved as economically as possible. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and coming today.
Tony, may I say one other thing?
Yeah, floor is still yours, sir.
I would ask Councilman Biassiatti, Councilman Snitsky, and if possible, the mayor, if you have a time afterwards, I would just like to share some things I took away from the meeting in Independence that I have in their minutes, if it's possible. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'd just like to remind the audience, comments need to be addressed to council as a whole, not to any individual member. Anyone back row right? Okay. So we have a couple. Oh, absolutely. Please state your name and address.
Lynn Thomas, and I reside at 6733 Donna Ray Drive. And, I'm just going to, I'm here to support Paul as I, live in the same house, and, we are very frustrated. I think one of the big things is that we don't hear anything back. I know, Dan, you said that it's, oh, I was supposed to do that, sorry. Said that it takes time. We understand that. But, we're going from the city that we reside in, and contacts there, and then we go to the other city, Independence, because that's where the property is on, and, we're not getting anywhere. And, we need some help with the creek and to fix the problem, because it's just going to get worse. And it isn't just our home, it is our neighboring property, and then, it'll keep going right down the road. And we would just, appreciate, an answer of some type. Why can't anybody give us an answer or tell us where we're at? And then on another note, too, while I'm here, because talking about snow flying and all that, most all municipalities always have Christmas decorations. And Seven Hills does not ever put up anything at the holidays. I know the city hall sits back off the street, but why don't we have anything at a marquee at Hillside and Broadview or somewhere? I mean, it would really be nice to have something at the holidays. I mean, like I said, I know this building is off the road, but so on a lighter note, I would like to see Christmas decorations.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks.
Okay, that's it for miscellaneous from the audience. Now move to reports, communication from Mayor Safety Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to thank the gentleman for the gracious remarks. I think everybody up here tries to do our best for our community. You asked me, had I had a conversation with the mayor of Independence? I certainly did, and I think you experienced.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You experienced the result of that conversation in that you were met by officials from the city of Independence who helped you to sort out the questions you may have. My understanding, and perhaps I'm wrong, my understanding from our engineer is that this creek is a natural flowing stream, privately owned, that crosses your property within the city of Independence, not within the city of Seven Hills. I agree. And therein lies the problem. But certainly it has not been ignored, as you readily admitted. Our engineer has been out to meet with you. But all those conversations you were reciting with the city of Independence happened as a result of my conversation with that mayor. What I would be willing to do at this point, if representatives from the city of Independence would be willing to do so, is to arrange a meeting of all parties, myself to be included, the engineer, yourself, perhaps the mayor or his representative from Independence, I can't speak for him, and someone from their engineering department, to have a direct conversation with you on this subject. My understanding, though, and as you have just indicated is correct, is that this is a private issue on private property within the city of Independence. I'm certainly willing to have that conversation, though, to see where that takes us. And I will volunteer to you that I will again contact the mayor of Independence and see if I can arrange that, and I'll be in contact with you to try to set that up.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Anything further, Mr. Mayor?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Director of Finance,
No report.
Director of Law. No report. Director of Public Service,
No report.
City Engineer.
Just a couple items, Mr. President. Hemlock Creek watershed utility improvements, I believe an email was sent to you and the mayor, and I'm not sure if you shared it with the rest of council, but Wednesday, October 18th, 2019 is the date of completion for the project. Okay, so by then, you know, the project should be nearly 100% completed with some punch list items maybe to still address, but that is the extension date that was approved by myself or the contractor. Okay, 2019, the road program is progressing quite well. McCreary Road, Evelyn Avenue, and Mapleview Drive all have been recycled, along with the intermediate course already installed. West 9th Street, one of our concrete streets that we're sharing with the city of Parma, the expense intermediate course has been installed as of today. The remaining 7 streets, concrete streets, are currently being addressed. I was out there before a council meeting today on Lombardo Center and marked all the partial and full depth repairs. If you drive down there, it looks like a maze. It's all white and orange paint everywhere. Contractor should be addressing that starting by the end of the week, maybe early next week. So I just wanted to report those 2 big projects, and I just want to express my just concerns and patience from the residents that are experiencing this construction that seems like it's been ongoing forever, especially on the Hemlock project. It's almost there, it's almost done, and just want everybody to drive safe and be mindful of the workers. The workers have families to go home to, so just be careful and give some patience to these workers. They're trying their best to get this project done. And the rest of my report is on file with the mayor's office, and thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I missed it. Can you address Mr. Mazzola's questions about Cherry Lane?
Yes,
In
yes.
general, maybe
Absolutely.
a specific status.
Sure, yes. Thank you so much for coming this evening and reporting that about the culvert pipes and the ditches being relatively deep on Cherry Lane. We have been in conversation with Fabrizi Trucking and Paving on some of the ditching on the, especially on the low side heading towards Seven Hills Boulevard, how the ditches do seem to be a little deep. We want the contractor to come back and kind of soften those ditches up a little bit, grading actually into the property, just so residents can indeed cut grass efficiently rather than, using maybe a weed trimmer in the ditches. But do understand roadside ditches are very, very important for that part of the city. A lot of those roads do not have curbs, and we expect rainwater, stormwater to run off the streets into the ditches. That's where it needs to go. We don't want standing water on the pavement, as for obvious reasons. Those ditches are designed to handle rainwater, and yes, we know some ditches are maybe perhaps deeper than they should be. So we are going to be working with the contractor during our punch list walkthrough to soften up many of the areas that they have already have cut. And do realize too that, they established the ditches on Cherry Lane quite some time ago. We've had a few rainfall events. Grass wasn't growing yet, so some sediment's been, dispersed and settled within the ditches, and it did flatten out some of the ditches, so you might see some standing water there. There are a few areas throughout the project that the roadway profile is relatively flat, and the ditches are flat, but, it is what it is. But we're gonna try best to make sure there is positive drainage and that we are minimizing the amount of ponding water, and along with the minimizing the slopeness of the ditches. So I hope that, helps answer your concerns you had tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dan. Building Commissioner?
Yes, sir. I'm pleased to announce that Omni will be starting their 24-unit townhouse. It'll be 4 separate buildings, 6 townhouses per building. And that's going to be starting in the next month or so. So that's good news.
Thank you for an update on that progress. Anything further, Mr. Commissioner?
No, sir. That is all.
Councilman Snitsky, miscellaneous.
Couple things, please. I want everybody to remember what tomorrow is, 9/11. I don't know where you were when it happened, but I was stuck away from home, and it was not a good time not to be home. So I just, keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers, and this is going to be a long battle that we're going to be fighting. It's going to be going on for a while. So, Paul, I want to tell you that the reason I haven't come by is I don't normally go out and say, here I am, to try to make you feel good. I referred to the administration, the engineering department, the sewer department. They're the only ones that can help you if there's any help to be had from government on this issue. So I haven't been ignoring the issue, but I've been trying to let the people that can actually potentially help you do their jobs. I haven't been ignoring you. It's just, it's over there. They're the ones that have to deal with it. I just want you to know that. I sympathize greatly, but, I have to let those wheels churn it out. Mr. Engineer, end of the project's going to be 10/18/2019. What's our projection on when folks are going to have their laterals in?
Well, that's a good question, and I've already answered a few residents on that via email. It's looking like if that's the drop dead date where the project will be done, we will have the final cost of construction established probably within 15 to 30 days afterwards. And then, of course, there's a process that we have to come up with the sum of the entire cost of the project. There's a lot of administrative, there's outside counsel, there's a process, then we have to come back to council, and, there's some, I have the whole list that our outside counsel provided us what has to happen. There's like 6 steps that have to happen yet.
Correct.
It's got to be, it's got to be filed with the county auditor's office, and the residents then are sent their final assessment letters. And answer your question though, likely the sewer will be accepted probably around in November, and by the time all that assessment stuff gets finalized, it'll probably be over the winter months.
Yeah.
And realistically it'll probably be in April, maybe March, April was when residents could probably start, connecting into that sewer. I have to find out for sure, maybe from outside counsel, is if indeed residents, can they start connecting before all that assessment, stuff is finalized, the final assessments?
Right.
I don't have that exact answer just yet.
Okay.
You could connect during the winter, but do the contractors really want to? Probably not.
We've talked about this before, about not wanting, not making people have to hook up in the wintertime. And I just was wondering if you had a rough idea, because I'm getting the same questions, and I knew we had talked about giving the residents as much time as possible and trying not to have it be in the wintertime. So I just wondered if you had a rough.
Yeah, ideally, I would like, the process to begin in April, and then give them 6 months from April. That'll give them the whole spring and summer, for the most part, to have time to connect. Because, as of, it will be a 6-month time frame that the residents will have to connect, like it typically is on an assessment project like this.
Okay. Is 6 months a date that's in stone, or can it be extended longer than that?
It can be extended, but it's not looked at high upon by, the Ohio EPA.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right. Well, more to come.
Yes.
But you've given me some rough ideas. Thank you.
I'll be continually updating council and, of course, our city's website, with information. Please feel free to check on that or
Okay.
email me if you have any
All
questions
right.
in the meantime. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Councilman Greenwald,
Nothing this evening.
Councilwoman Stager,
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Elliott,
Nothing, sir.
Councilwoman Kelly.
Nothing, Council President?
Okay, I'll wrap it up today. I want to thank Paul and Lynn for coming and sharing what's going on there. I know I've been out to the House back in June. I'd promised I'd contact Mayor Tagliati, and I did that day. He wrote me back 2 days later. A little bit later on, got an email from Mayor DeQuillo stating he had met with Mayor Tagliati on this issue. Further, I was notified by Mayor Tagliati that you presented your case at Independence Council. I was not aware of the comments that Independence Councilman Tracus had made to you. I find that unfortunate, and I'm going to take them up with them personally. Just because you're not a resident of Independence, this crack about do you pay taxes, I don't find that professional, and I'll have a conversation with them about that. Okay? Same with you, Ross. Thank you. Ross Mazzola, hopefully Dan answered your questions. If not, if you can. Sir. If you can see.
Can appreciate that, and we're going to find out for sure, indeed, if indeed we can. Do you?
Thank you. Attempt to answer a couple of Mr. Jaros's concerns real quick, and then we'll call it a night. The policy, the rule where public comment is allowed, I introduced that to council in my first term. That was something I introduced, so I'm pretty well aware of it. I'll take under consideration your suggestion. To me, this was always the procedure. We have a caucus that's related to the upcoming meeting. They're kind of tied together. So typically, that meeting is to prep for this council meeting. In that meeting, we had an opportunity to ask questions about items on the agenda tonight. As we just witnessed, the meeting that meeting is tied to, which is tonight in the same room with the same group of people, there was a miscellaneous. Anyone can come up, talk about any item. In addition to how this transpired this evening, we also have a general caucus where I have always allowed any questions. And the general caucus is held every other week. But I'll take your suggestion under advisement because I always have. In terms of the Genesis loan, my comments were based upon an email I had asked as a result of your last meeting, because I've been following everything you've requested for 4 years and trying to do my very best by you particularly. In the last meeting, a regular scheduled meeting in July, you had asked about this again, public records request. I had asked the administration to give me a complete listing of all public records requests made by you, Tom Jaros, and at the time it was 19. The administration forwarded me a sheet, said that all had been met. So the one I'm assuming you speak to tonight, you were given an answer of attorney-client privilege and, in addition, sunshine law protected information about children. That is not you're unhappy with that answer. That's okay. That is not a factor of the policy that council passed unanimously last year to have a single point of contact. That is simply just to reduce redundancy, and it's consistent in how other cities operate. We can't have an email go to 4 people and then 4 city workers, then your tax dollars all chasing down the same issue. By having a single point of contact, that individual assigns it to one person, that person then takes the necessary steps. This was also reassigned, based upon your comments in the July meeting, to our Rules Committee. Specifically, I asked Councilman Martin to look into it. So, as the questions come to council as a whole, not as an individual, it was properly assigned to the Rules. And if the Rules Committee sees a problem with that procedure, I'm all ears. In terms of the Genesis loan, this kind of goes to the first part. The specific questions that were asked from a public records request were fulfilled, at least according to the administration, as they followed up with me. Subsequently, I asked Law Department to review your comments regarding whether this is still in full force and effect. Director Pignatello copied all of council on an internal memo a month or 2 ago saying it is. Based upon the general comments in caucus, last week I asked the Law Department to take a second look at that. And at this time, I'd like to ask Assistant Law Director DiCiro if he's aware of this request and if they've had an opportunity to take a second look at the Genesis loan.
It's my understanding that Law Director Pignatello did look at it, and to my knowledge, from what's been relayed to me by Mr. Pignatello, the Genesis loan is current and it's being paid.
Now, you relayed in the Law Director, I'd like his findings in writing as soon as he can.
That's fine.
And then I will put them into the minutes and or make them available to the public. So I want complete transparency on this.
No problem.
And then last but not least, there was a comment, last general caucus, I thanked the Planning Commission. My thank you was in general, not in regards to them help brokering a deal with Kmart. The previous meeting, prior to that caucus, the Planning Commission had passed unanimously everything that Meyer had asked for in terms of signage and other small changes to the colors, etc. So the fact that they handled the Meyer request expeditiously and not let it linger for months did indeed help Meyer achieve their target date of this spring, which is 1 year ahead. So their contribution was not in the negotiations with Meyer, Meyer and Kmart. Their contribution was handling the Planning Commission agenda item expeditiously as possible to accommodate Meyer. Lynn, thank you for your comment on Christmas decorations. I thought maybe Councilwoman Kelly might mention this. Last year, she took the initiative, all the credit's hers, to put up some lights at our fire station. So that was the first since I've been on council, and maybe we can build upon that this year. So with that, you're welcome. I'm going to motion up. I stand corrected. We have a little more housekeeping to do, and I'm filling in for Councilman Martin tonight. So we have a floor motion related to Myers. There's 4 variances that went to our ZBA board. They all passed and are now coming to the council for confirmation. They deal with signs and colors, in the installation of lighting. Like I said, these all passed. Are coming to council. If there's no division on the question, I motion to confirm all 4 variance requests request that came from Meyer Stores Limited Partnership. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliot?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Janicki?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes, the four motions related to the ZBA Board of Appeals related to Meyer have been confirmed. I further like to make a motion confirming the findings of the Zoning Board of Appeals for 7667 McCreary for the installation of a shed. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliot?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Janicki?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Motion's carried. Last but not least, I'd like to make a motion to confirm the findings of the Zoning Board of Appeals for James Chapman on behalf of Shaker Zayed for the installation of a 6-foot fence. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliot?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Janicki?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes. Motion's carried. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn council at 8:52.
Second.
A roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Elliot?
Yes.
Stager?
Yes.
Greenwald?
Yes.
Janicki?
Yes.
Biassiata.
Yes, council's adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
This poor guy.
Stick to it. You say, yeah. How you doing? Good.
I changed your address. And nothing kicked back.